I went to go put on this video and it went on. It was total blank screen. Couldn't, no matter which way I had the camera, you couldn't see anything. And then it kept saying that the signal was dropping in and out. And I was like, that's interesting. Am I not supposed to post this right now? But I looked at it and I cleared some cache files, and it appears to have been mostly that for this round. But keep in mind, this Mercury retrograde in Libra that we're in the pre-shadow of is pretty strong, and it's going to be an interesting ride. I've got a couple of different videos I'm going to do today, including this one. And this one, my focus is to connect with fellow Divine Feminines, and I call them DXs, but I feel like there's a name in there that's not feminine and not masculine, and I'm just not sure what to go with for that. And I also want to say, I know there are plenty of you Divine Masculines watching, and please apply this where it feels like it resonates. I'm going to start doing some more bids like these that are specifically for DM to do their work and DX to do their work as I learn how to and feel called to do so. In any case, this one, dear DX, is about your intention. And part of it came through in some videos that I was doing last night, and it's something that I actually talked about last year in some of my older videos. And it's an energy that feels extra strong right now, which is, what is your intention? Now, I already did, thank you to Divine Maverick for sharing a couple of videos that really, that's kind of what they were speaking to, is what is, what are you, how are you telling yourself the story of what's happening and what's going on, right? And then what came up today was some thoughts from the DM collective about, what does it mean to be a friend? What is a friend? What is a friendship? And what's the difference between a friend and a lover? Family members and coworkers in terms of those energetic exchanges. And I can feel them getting to a place where they're like learning to discern what is a real friend versus somebody who's like, say, using you but saying that they're a friend. And how can you recognize a genuine friend? And are friends honest with you? And then it also, there's some I'm going to do a Lightworkers Chronicle that'll explain a little bit more. But when we're going out into the world, like I preach a lot about, go out and talk to real people. Go find your tribe, your collective, your whatever you want to call it. And also just go out into the world and meet people, experience things, because a lot of twins get into this kind of semi-agoraphobic state to where they don't want to go out and do anything, or they don't want to connect with people, especially because they're so steeped in that desperation energy of not having their twin with them that they're not getting the message. If you're in this state, you're not getting the message. I know some of you are and some of you are not. That you need to be a part of the world. That's what you came here to experience, and that self-love that you need to connect with in order to connect with your twin, it starts out there. And it's not in majoring in minor bullshit like, do I date or do I wait, do I get, and I know I was steeped in that energy too, so I recognize it feels like a strong energy, but that's kind of it's already been done. That's the best way I can say it. That's what the energy is saying. It's like, this has been done. And like the reason that you manifested an experience as strong as this one was to have something different. And it's actually quite ancient, but it's different than what we've been used to in the linear fashion. And it's not as scary as it seems, but what I realized is that a lot of the disconnect on this is that most folks don't know what friendship is, or what it's for, or what relationship, like romantic relationship, is or is for. And there's so many different meanings that it's not about, like, I'm not going to give you like one answer as to what it's for. It's about, what do you want it to be for? What do you want your intention of it to be for? And a lot of you are like, the topic of what do you want with your DM is it's not that it's too big, it's that you're too close to it to really define what do you want. And you haven't had a lot of other like relationships that were not of some kind of focus of romanticism to really explore it. Like, it's been, is this a potential partner? Yes or no? And if they're not a partner, what, like, are they, do I like them? Are they good for me? Do we have fun? Which are fine qualities, but like we tend to get into this transactional energy of things, and there's so many different ways to approach things. It doesn't all have to be transactional. It doesn't have to be about comfort versus discomfort. There's many ways to walk through life. One of the ways that I've been exploring things is, rather than going into it going, I guess, like, old me was very much like, if I go here, what if people like me or don't like me? What if I get into an entanglement? What if I get into a karmic third party thing? What will so and so think? What if I, what if? And it was all very 3D stuff. And what feels great to me is to be like, where do I feel called to go right now? And I wonder what kind of light work I might end up doing for myself and or for others out there. What cosmic equations might spirit use my metacognitive consciousness PowerPoint to start untangling? And for me, that's a much different space to move through the world in, and it feels so much better than, am I here to make some sort of relationship connection, either platonically or friendship wise or otherwise? Who can I learn from? Who can I teach? Who can I help? Like, rather than, like, those are not bad things. It's just, for my vibration, for me, it feels much better to go through. And if you watch my Lightworker Chronicles, I'm kind of explaining a little bit what I see as light work, which is, I think, different than what other people see as light work. And and their ways are not invalid. This is just simply what I've been called to experience, and maybe you feel like you resonate with it more. I don't know. In any case, think about your intentions. Start with friendships. Start with new friendships. And get into exploring that aspect, especially if you're afraid to go to new places and make new friends, especially in-person places. But online counts too, because I know a lot of folks are trying to avoid sickness vibes. So either way, think about where that fear started, of talking to new people, of meeting new people. I can almost guarantee you, anybody who is afraid to make new friends or go into new situations has shadow work to do with self-love and self-affirmation, because those are the only reasons that we do that. Oh, I need to hide things. Oh, I don't want them to know about this crazy twin flame thing. Oh, I don't want what are they going to think if I tell them that I'm this or I'm that? It's like, it's a separation of self-love in the identity space, and it sets an intention to continue manifesting that stuff. So when you go, think about it. What do you want your intention to be? Do you want it to be doing light work? Do you want to build more friendships? Do you want to work out some karma that may be blocking you from, say, your twin flame relationship or your business stuff or other things like that? Do you want to explore all the different aspects of what friendship can mean? Do you want to learn, what you feel like for you is the difference between, like, say, fake friends and real friends? Do you want to discover the magics that can be available when you look at everybody as a friend already in base level, and even when there's disconnect or you feel drawn away from them, that they are still friends, as in the energy? And what's your intention? Like part of the reason for this is because there's a lot of calls going out into the collective of, how do I get my DM back? How do I connect with them? Well, this is one of the answers. Think about your intention. What's your intention? Just to cuddle with them in bed? To have the status? To have the ring? To have the piece of paper? The burnable piece of paper? That's what I often call it. You want a burnable piece of paper with them? Is it happily ever after, where there's never any stress or strife? You want some sort of like golden age Garden of Eden sort of thing? I'm not even saying that those are bad. The problem is that a lot of times that's where we have like this Disney version of things that we feel like are supposed to happen, but we're not even aware of it. We're not metacognitive. We're not thinking about our thinking. And so it's our instinctual DNA that is controlling what we are intending, and therefore what we are manifesting. When you get conscious and you think about your thinking, that's when you start to see things shift. So think about like start it, whichever one's easier. You can either use your twin as a basis to start having healthier relationships in the rest of the world and doing light work, or you can start there and use that as a basis for shifting your twin flame relationship. Just make sure that either way you're doing it for you. Like, look at at least I recommend that you do it from a space of, you're not doing it to save, rescue, or entice your twin. You're doing it because it makes you feel good about who you are to experience this romantic, magical connection. And because you know that the things that you're going to learn along the way will benefit many people, and that will also make you feel really good about who you are. See what I mean? Like, the journey is about self-love and self-affirmation in ways that are benevolent and positive for the rest of the world, the rest of the universe, all the dimensions, all the realities. You see what I'm saying? Then think about it in terms of, when you're 90 and you're sitting in a rocking chair looking back at the story of your life, what kinds of things do you want to see? What kinds of friendships did you want to have? And if you're starting with your twin, like I've said in other videos, get in and clearly define it. What do you want to do with them? Do you want to have phone conversations that are pleasant? Do you want to work out cosmic, philosophical, spiritual, whatever equations in your mind? Do you want to talk politics? Do you want to talk saving the world? Do you want to talk about which way is the best way to have the toilet paper roll on the thing? Like, what do you want to do with them? And what does that relationship mean to you? Because divine or not, we often get blocked up in doing the same thing that we look at third parties and go like, ugh, like, I can't believe you're living that way. But we're not being any better, because a lot of the times we're just hooked on having their 3D presence with us all the time. Texting, calling, cuddling, being with us, eating meals, doing the things with us, basically giving us constant attention. And we're not even defining what kind of attention that we want. So then we actually manifest what we wanted because it was undefined. You're like, I really want to connect with my DM, but then we have a fight with him, or we also connect with the third party, or or we have a period of 3D physical silence, but we're connecting in 5D a whole bunch. But then we like slap ourselves in the face because we're like, oh, that hurts and that's not what I wanted, and then we tell the universe we don't want more of that, and then we get that desperate and sad because we're not making a connection. Then we call in a connection again, and it's not a great connection. See what I mean? And that's not because you're doing anything wrong. It's not because they're doing anything wrong. It's because you're not setting your intention. What kind of connection do you want to have with them today, tomorrow, next week, overall? And if it gets to I want them to love me, okay, define that. What does that mean? What does it mean for you to feel like you are loved? What does it mean for you to feel like you are appreciated? What does it mean to feel like you are seduced or courted or pursued or whatever thing that you want, And in terms of the friend thing, look at that too. What kind do you want? Do you want a fairly codependent relationship where there's the extreme loyalty and you could never leave each other and you'll always be there and you'll always listen to each other's emotional dumping and you'll always do all these things no matter what they do? Because that's a lot of what people often look at with friendship. And I'm not saying it's bad, but it's a little distorted. And, at the same time, what are you qualifying as a successful friendship? Is it one that lasts forever and ever and ever, and they never leave you, and they never piss you off, and they never have any contrast or minds of their own? Or could a successful friendship also be like some time you spent with somebody for like a week? Or a couple of months or a couple of years? Like, what is your definition of a successful friendship? And likewise, what's a successful relationship? Does it have to be a forever fairy tale, white dress, riding off into the sunset thing? Or could a successful relationship maybe be like 3 months that you got to enjoy some fun time with a soulmate? Like, what do you define it as, and then what's your intention in that? Like, is your intention to be with your twin or to have a friend? Is it a place that you want to go to give something, or is it a place you want to go to get something? Because most of us unknowingly or subconsciously are going into relationships with everybody, family, coworkers, friends, twins, all that stuff, because we want to get something. It really is. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's just it's a lower mind thing. Like, where we go there to get attention. We go there to get affirmation. We go there to get validation. We go there to get physical connection. We go there to feel significant, right? But we don't often go consciously in a place of, how can I give to this? And then another space after that, because we don't have to go into every relationship having to give. Abraham Hicks talks about this. When most people think of relationships, what they want is an object of affection. And most often, you know what we manifest when we're calling out to the universe for an object of affection? It's children. And because we're not intentional about it, we're not clear about it. That's why a lot of times, once a baby is grown and has a bit of a mind of its own, a lot of people then like cut off the object of attention sort of stuff, because humans do their own things and we don't always fit the imagining that we had when when our parents were pregnant with us, and the energies to which they were experiencing around them when they were calling out to the universe for an object of affection often then go into our energetic DNA, and then we play that out with them. And then we carry that forward into our own stuff until we become conscious of it and release it. However, I hope you catch what I mean. You catch my drift, is that when we don't set our intentions intentionally, our intentions are set for us by our lack of attention. And or not our lack of attention, our lack of intention. So you really want to get into a space where you're thinking about, what is your intention for this? What is your intention for your twin flame relationship? Is it just so you don't feel lonely or desperate, or like that you're not getting any attention? Is it to participate in these great adventures of missions and ways to help unravel the dynamics of the world that have been creating the pain and strife and attachment traumas and stuff like that? Is it to be able to help people within your community? Is it so that you guys can create an amazing fantasy novel? Is it so that you can connect with other twins? Is it, and go through the shadowy parts? Is it because you feel like if you're not married to the one that you love by a certain age that you're going to be looked at as a spinster? Is it because everyone else wants to have relationships? Like, what is your reason for wanting to have a relationship at all? And especially, what is your reason for wanting to have a relationship with your twin? Do you want to have a relationship with them because you enjoy who they are? As they are right now, I'm talking playerly, immature, all that stuff. Do you like them as who they are? Do you see a beautiful soul there that you would be delighted to interact with in any way that they appear with you in 3D? Or is it because you are hooked onto the potential of who they could be? Or is it because you're hooked onto the visions of who you see that they are becoming? And so you're like conditionally not interacting with them or connecting with them until they show you those signs? Because you see how that sort of intention can work out for you. Many of you are probably experiencing that. And likewise, think about the friendships, Are you going out and meeting people with the intention of saving them, or having somebody that you can emotionally dump with that doesn't think you're crazy? Is it, so that you have a place to go when you're stressed out? Is it so you don't feel lonely? Or are you going out there because you never know what sort of amazing conversations you might have and what kinds of cool things you might learn, or synchronicities you might experience, what sort of a extra magical day you could experience with a few other beings in it, of your same species? Is it because that spirit will line you up with people who might be helped by something that you might just say in being who you are, and you want to experience the upliftment and self-love of that, and the knowing that other people seeing you in that way will help create ripple effects that help them heal and help others heal? Like, what is your space of going into? Those are a lot of my reasonings, but what are yours? There are no bad reasonings. I'm simply saying, become conscious of what your reasons are, what your intentions are, what outcomes are you trying to manifest, and how does it make you feel when you think about the reasons. And likewise, if you feel resistant towards doing this exercise, like getting out your journal and really defining all of it, if you feel resistant, ask yourself why, and how does it make you feel about that why? Like, if you're like, well, I just love them and I want to be with them and I shouldn't need any deeper reasons than that. Well, first of all, you're right. It's not a should. Don't should all over yourself. But why do you feel resistant to that? Why do you feel triggered by that? And really, when you think about it, if you are triggered to that and unopen to it, how does it make you feel about yourself as a person to be triggered and unopen to things like that? And what does that say about maybe the reason that you've got blocks going on in your twin flame union? Just saying. So I'm going to leave this here, just under 20 minutes. I love y'all so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Mwah.